Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Storm and today is going to be a 2 days in one. It's going to be day 19, which is fire here, and then also day 20, which is water. For both of the prompts, they follow they're of my Good Omens reverse AU with Ario and Zarathim, and their story compared to Serial and Damien's story, which is my other reverse AU. Zario and Zarathim's story follows pretty close with the canon of season 1 of Good Omens, so they end up getting their own execution scene where Zarathim is Ario in the holy water, and then Ario is Zarathim in the hellfire. And so I just, I drew them. There's not a whole lot to it. For Zarathim's here, for fire, which is Ario in Zarathim's body here, I do like a flat wash of watercolor of like fire colors, which took forever to dry, by the way. But then after it dried, I ended up using a mix of crayons, and then I used crayons to add texture to the fire, and then I just went over it with colored pencil to outline Zarathim, and then also I think I used Posca or some other white pen to give highlights. But other than that, fire in it itself is pretty simple, and then water ends up being pretty simple too. But I'll get more into that when it actually pops up. So to kind of move on from the process, which wasn't really much in the first place, I'm now going to talk about more of the Good Omens love letter. I'm going to do day 7 and then probably also day 8. Is it day 7? And then no, day 9. So day 7 was favorite Good Omens AU/fic prompt. And then day 9 ties into this with it being list your favorite Good Omens fanfic. But anyways, in general, when it comes to fan fiction, pretty much for any fandom I'm in, I'm not someone I would say is particularly picky when it comes to fanfiction. I do have some fics that I tend to gravitate towards, but if the fic has just an interesting premise in general, then I'm probably going to read it, or at least I'll probably glance at it, be interested in reading it. But I guess some of my favorite fics that I do tend to be drawn towards are human AUs, fantasy AUs, reverse AUs, or other what ifs on canon, or just general different takes on canon. The fandom is just so creative, and they tend to come up with such cool ideas and so many cool AUs, and it's always a lot of fun to just read the fan fictions, to read the fanfic, and to see their different takes on, typically, not always, sometimes I branch out and read other ships, but typically their take on Aziraphale and Crowley's relationship, and even how some other characters other than Aziraphale and Crowley kind of tie in, and how they view the Aziraphale and Crowley's relationship with other characters. It's always so fun, and there are so many talented creators within the fandom, and it's just always so fun. Even if a creator makes something that the premise has been done over and over again, if it's done well, I'm going to read it regardless. It doesn't matter if the trope's been done over and over. It's just the different takes and the slight changes in the flavors of how the fic is written. It's so fun. It's always so fun. I love it so much. Okay, so now popping over to day 20, water. As I said earlier, this is now Zarafim as Ario during the holy water scene. And for this, I couldn't find the footage of me doing the watercolor portion of this, so I apologize. But I do have like just me doing the colored pencil stuff. So, here you go. But now on to day 9 of Good Omens, of the Good Omens love letter, day 9, favorite Good Omens fanfiction. Again, as I said before, I'm not picky when it comes to fanfiction. But for these fics, few things here. 1, make sure you read the tags. All of them are on AO3, but make sure you read the tags, because what may be your thing, what may be my thing, may not be your thing. So just to make sure, just read the tags. I don't think I list anything that's too bad, but, for your own sanity, read the tags. Also, majority of these fanfictions have podfic versions as well. So if you're someone who doesn't really read fanfic that often, but you do enjoy reading, or you do enjoy listening to like podfics and stuff, I would highly recommend that you go and check out the podfics for pretty much all of the things listed here, because I personally like the people who do the voices for the characters here. Some people may not like it as much because some of the people here have thick accents, but I don't mind. So I would highly recommend you check them out. Anyway, first one, Under Construction by Summer of Spock. This one is so good. I have nothing but love for this one. It is a human AU where Crowley works in an office in the UK, and his uncle ended up passing away and left him with this property in his will in Oregon. So, Crowley goes to travel there to get the place fixed up, and eventually he wants to sell it, pretty sure. And on his trip, he ends up meeting Aziraphale, who is a kind handyman who has been working on the property for some years now, and, eventually they fall in love. This fanfic has my entire heart. It is so good. It also has a podfic, like most of the stuff here do. The podfic is done by Jub, and also voiced by Sky Sumaru, who, if you were here for the first prompt of this list, Sky Sumaru introduced me to Good Omens. And so having them be in this podfic, it makes me so happy. Their Crowley and Aziraphale voices, so good. And in the fic, they end up adopting a black cat named Spider, and it's so cute. Also, Aziraphale has a beard. If that doesn't sell it for you, then I don't know what will, okay? It's so good. Perfection. Next, Choose Your Princes Wisely by Zewolf. My apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Fanfiction also has a podfic that is voiced by Jub, as well as a few other people. I'm pretty sure this was a multi-voice podfic. It's about Aziraphale, who is like a noble hero warrior character, and he goes on this quest because his family wants him to do something or other. He goes on this quest to make his family happy. He ends up finding a talking snake, which is Crowley, who ends up tricking him into helping him find some ingredients so that Crowley, he can change back into being human. It's super fun. It's very cute. And also, the characters in this fic, 90% sure, if I remember correctly, they're asexual. So, some nice ace representation in there. Again, Fantasy AU fic, super fun. And another one of the ones where was one of the first ones I listened to when I first got into the fandom. I Love My Lover with an A by Dictionary Rights. This one has a podfic. It is super cute and it's super sweet. This one you should definitely read the tags on, because they do some of the writing in here. There's a couple slurs and stuff sprinkled here or there, but it's done playfully by them, and I really like it. Aziraphale and Crowley, they wake up one morning on someday they're in the South Downs cottage, and they end up giving each other compliments and kisses with the alphabet. It is a comfort fic of mine that every so often I end up coming back to, and I love it so much. All lines are open by Pharaoh Tuxedo and Twani Owl 95. This one, so goddamn funny. It's a human AU where Aziraphale and Crowley are local radio hosts, and they fucking despise each other. They're constantly bickering off set, and they're pissing each other off on purpose. It's just so funny. They end up exploring this quote-unquote haunted house, which Shadwell said is haunted. Or not haunted, there's some witchcraft or whatever. Crowley, he's bored of, just being show host or whatever. And so he begs Aziraphale to come with him to investigate the house. Aziraphale reluctantly goes, and they end up discovering some things. It's a bit more than what they bargained for. Their banter in this is so perfect. It is so funny, and I remember laughing my goddamn ass off when I originally read it. The bitchy energy is off the charts, and I fucking feed off it so hard. So good. Another super good one, In Mixed Company by the Old Aquarian. Super fucking funny. Oh my god, so funny. It's about heaven and hell going on a company trip together to someplace in the US, I'm pretty sure. Both sides need to work on understanding Earth and cooperating with each other so they can be more successful at their jobs. Aziraphale and Crowley end up, having time to meet up with each other. And then hijinks ensue. Hijinks and hilarity ensue, as always. There's also a really cute relationship between another angel named Ethereal and Eric, and I love them so much. It's a multi-voice podfic, and I love it so much. The Tales of Eden Cottage series. This series is so good, except for the fact that it's probably not going to be for everyone because it mostly follows original characters rather than Aziraphale Crowley. But it is so sweet and so good, and I completely recommend that you give it a chance. It is about the husbands. They end up moving to Eden Cottage, I think it's in the South Downs, and it's the series is about them going around and helping and interacting with people within the South Downs, within that village. There's this one kid named Joshua, and I absolutely love him. He's autistic and he's reserved, but he's such an interesting character. He can see the wings that Aziraphale and Crowley has, and he knows that they're not human, and he's so sweet. There's also a character named Jo, who's a tired vicar who loves her job. She really does, but she really just wants to relax and be at home and not be bothered, especially around Christmas time. And there's so many other characters, and they're all so lovable. So if you like or enjoy outsider POVs, and you enjoy when Aziraphale and Crowley come and interact with other humans, where we don't necessarily follow the storyline of Aziraphale and Crowley, then I absolutely 100% recommend that you go check out this series. It is so good. Love it so much. Next we have How to Win a Lifetime Achievement Award for Services to Television and How Not To, by a bunch of different podfickers. They do it's multi-voice podfic. This one is strictly a podfic one. There isn't an actual fanfic for it. And it's also locked, so if you don't have an AO3 account, you're probably not going to be able to listen to this one. But it's also but if you have a Spotify, it's on Literary and Spotify, so you can always check it out like that. And oh my god, another super fucking funny one. Jeez Louise. It is a human AU, where Aziraphale and Crowley are two separate television talk show hosts. Crowley's talk show talks shit about people, and Aziraphale's show is very sweet. It's a morning show, and Crowley's is an evening show. Aziraphale's show is very sweet, and they talk about food and other stuff like that. One day, Crowley ends up inviting Aziraphale to talk on his show, and Crowley tries to poke fun at Aziraphale, as he usually does, and in the end he ends up failing miserably, because at some point Aziraphale ends up saying something scandalous to him. In secret, the audience didn't hear what Aziraphale said, but he ends up becoming a meme with his classic sound, And, now he has to deal with that. They end up having a little bit of a beef. Nothing too serious, but in the end, they end up getting closer because of it and eventually falling in love. It's so good. It's so funny. I highly recommend you check it out. So good. Getting a Wiggle On by Kadriva. Now, if you've listened to me ramble from this list before, you already know that this fan fiction is the reason I got into Good Omens. And it's super cute. Crowley ends up giving Aziraphale a tank full of quote-unquote snake eggs, and Aziraphale is supposed to watch these eggs while Crowley goes and leaves and goes and does whatever fuck else. Aziraphale 100% believes that these quote-unquote eggs are real, and so he treats them as such, as he would, because why wouldn't he? He makes sure that they stay warm and that they know who their father is for when they hatch. And he does a bunch of other stuff. He makes sure he takes good care of them while Crowley is gone. Then, when Crowley comes back, he's expecting Aziraphale to be miffed and a little peeved when he realizes that he's been tricked, only to be... Then when Crowley comes back, he ends up becoming very confused, because what he ends up seeing are actual baby snakes in the tank, and Aziraphale is none the wiser to the trick that Crowley had played on him. Aziraphale is just simply happy to help, and so now they have snake babies. It's super funny and super cute, I love it. And then finally, we have on here Demonology in the Triphasic Model of Trauma, an Investigative Approach by Nim. This one is a classic. It is a classic. It is the Crowley Gets Therapy fic, and if you've been in the fandom long enough, you know that this is definitely one of the fics. It's one of the more popular ones. It's also super long, so it's super long, but it's super good. If you haven't read it already, I highly recommend you do. It's super good. It's long. But God, it's a worthy read. I listened to it in podfic form, so pretty much that was the only reason why I was able to get through with it. And it was super good. It's a classic. It's a classic. But yeah, there's also some other fanfics that I don't have listed here that I remember liking very well. There's also another classic one. I don't actually know if I read it. Forget what it's called, but there's a one fic where Crowley ends up getting turned into a human because of death. That one's a classic one, though I forget the name of it. And I have plenty of other fanfics on like my AO3 that I really like, but I'm like, they didn't make the cut as some of my favorites. But if you guys have, like, any fanfics that you really like, that you want to share, oh my god, please do. I don't read as much fanfic as I used to, but one of these days I'm going to get around to reading my gigantic list, which has a mix of not only Good Omens fanfic to read, but also Our Flag Means Death fanfic. I've just been very busy, and I've been having no time, and on top of that, my brain works weird, so I feel like I have to really sit down and be able to really truly read these fanfic in order to actually appreciate them. So I can't just sit down and read it casually. On top of that, when I do ever decide to, sit down and read fanfic casually, it's usually when I shouldn't be, and then I end up wasting my entire day reading fanfiction. So it's kind of like a mixed bag for me. That may or may not be the ADHD, but who knows? I'm not diagnosed officially. But yeah, not a whole lot left for this. I'm just finishing up doing the line art, and then I think that'll pretty much be it. And I'm very close to being done with this project. I have a few more videos I need to make. I have 3 that I'm currently editing at the moment, and then I have like 5 more left after these 3. So yeah, I'm pretty much almost done, which I'm very happy to be done with this project. It's been very fun. but all things must come to an end, and considering this project is a year old, I'm happy to be done with it. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say. I hope you guys end up enjoying the rest of this video, and you care to support me, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, you know what to do. And I have commissions if anyone is willing. They're digital commissions, not traditional. I don't have supplies that last well enough. But regardless, I hope you all have a fantastic day, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all next time, I guess. Bye-bye!